Kyle Busch did not agree with the call for NASCAR penalizing Austin Cindric following the race at COTA, where he right rear hooked Ty Dillon, sent him spinning into the outside wall at the beginning of the race there. Roll this up over at stockcarreport.com. You can find the link in the description below. So NASCAR penalized Cindric 50 driver points and fined him $50,000, but did not suspend him after he hooked Dillon at the beginning of the race. NASCAR's managing director of racing communications, Mike Ford, explained why NASCAR chose not to suspend him during the most recent episode of Hauler Talk. He said, "The reason we landed on points and fine is that we take every situation, every violation as its own unique incident. In this case, we did feel that it was significantly different than the previous two. And the reasons are, you look at it, it is at a road course, lower speeds, tight confines to begin with, and the result didn't even draw a caution flag. Those were really the reasons we chose to err on the side of letting him race this weekend at Phoenix, going with a fine and a significant driver points penalty. If we suspended him, the punishment wouldn't have fit the crime. It was probably going to be too severe of a punishment." So Busch reacted to that during an interview with Sirius XM NASCAR Radio, and he says, "I think intent is intent. I do not agree with the call there. I don't care where it is. It doesn't matter if it's Daytona, Talladega, Martinsville, wherever. There's intent. That's not his first offense either, so he got off the hook on that one." Larry McReynolds then asked, "So Kyle, do you think there is a distinct line in the sand that if you hook somebody, you're going to be out, and now that line is a little unclear?" And Busch said, "Ain't that what we've all talked about forever? I've been guilty of it before, and I've been sat out of it before. So, maybe it's all in who your last name is," obviously implying there that Cindric didn't receive the suspension because his last name is Cindric. His dad is kind of in charge of the top of Team Penske. So that is what Kyle Busch had to say. I get where he's coming from, but I also do think that NASCAR made the right decision not to suspend. I don't think every right hook is the same. I obviously understand him saying intent is intent, but there are differences. Even if you look at the legal system, you look at different levels of murder, you look at different levels of homicide, there's manslaughter as well. We do make those distinctions in our society, so I don't understand why we wouldn't be able to make those distinctions in NASCAR as well. And I think that they made that distinction here, and I think they made the right decision not to suspend him. I don't think that was a suspendable offense. There is a difference when you are right hooking someone at Daytona and at COTA or at Talladega and Martinsville. There is a difference there. The speed, I think, does play into it. I think that is something that NASCAR should factor in. And I actually agree with him. I actually thought the penalty was a little bit too harsh. I thought the 50-point penalty was a little bit too severe for what we saw. Now, sure, he did right rear hook him, but I guess that just begs the question, and I guess that's what Larry McReynolds asked, is right rear hooking always supposed to be a suspendable offense? It seems clear that Kyle Busch thinks it should be, but obviously NASCAR is clearly saying it's not. So that's kind of where I stand. I think you should be looking at these situations on an individual basis. I agree with NASCAR on that. I mean, I refereed soccer for over a decade, and not all slide tackles are the same. They're all slide tackles, but they're not all of them are as severe as them. So you do judge them on a individual basis. I mean, you can look at any other sport, right? Not everything is going to always be judged the same way. So like you can give a yellow card for a slide tackle, you can just call a penalty. You can give a red card. There is different levels of severity when you look at things like that. And that is, I think, similar across any kind of sporting event. So I disagree with this idea that if you right rear hook someone, you should always get a suspension. I just don't think that really makes a lot of sense. And I actually agree with NASCAR on this. I think they got that part right. I even still think it is a little bit too severe. Obviously, Kyle Busch does not agree. But let me know what you guys make of this. Do you agree with Kyle Busch? Do you have a different opinion on this? Let me know what you guys make of this. Let me know in the comments below.